Hey, beautiful people. This is Nicole Peak. I am a licensed psychologist based out of Colorado. And did you know that anxiety is the most common mental struggle that most Americans have? About 40 million Americans struggle with anxiety. And it is also one of the ones that we have many treatments for, and only about a third of people that struggle with anxiety actually get help for it. So with that said, that's my segue into continuing our conversation about anxiety. So to continue in our talk with anxiety and also about depression, let's talk a little bit about what is within our control, what is not in our control. So if you remember, last time we talked a little bit about anxiety and we talked about thought diffusion. And so we talked about the common, Dr. Peak, I need to learn how to control my thoughts. And so despite what sometimes popular, pop psychology tells us, the things that we really can't control, number one, are our emotions. And even mainstream society, right? Society tells us we should be able to control our emotions. And what I mean by not controlling our emotions, I mean not being like, I can't just tell you just don't worry or just don't be depressed, right? Just be happy, right? Just be happy, no worries, right? Because if it was that easy, I would be out of a job, right? And you wouldn't be watching this. So this idea that our emotions, we can just flip a switch and turn them on and off is a misnomer, because we can't. Emotions don't operate that way. Emotions have purpose. If anxiety didn't just kick in naturally without us trying to do anything, then a lot of us would be dead, right? Because it kind of helps us with survival and things like that. So there's purpose in our emotions, and because of that, we can't just flip a switch to feel or not feel them. And so we can influence emotion. And so, we've talked about when we're depressed, for example, the idea of acting opposite is a way to influence emotion. But this idea that I can just stop being depressed or stop being anxious again, right? So we can't control emotions like that per se. And the other thing that we cannot control is our automatic thoughts. So as I talked to you, right, there's intentional thought. Like if I tell you to think about a pink elephant, you could think of a pink elephant right now. So, but we're talking about the automatic thoughts that just come up, like, what if this, what if that, oh my gosh, what if I just drove off the road right now? Or what if I make a fool of myself during this presentation? Those kinds of thoughts are automatic thoughts, and we don't have control over those. They just bloop, like little bubbles, like little brain farts, just appear in our thinking. And so sometimes people are like, well, that's kind of depressing. Then nothing's in my control. But there are things that are in our control. What is within our control? So one is our behaviors, what we do, right? So as we've been talking about getting out of the damn bed, right, acting opposite, diffusing our thoughts, that's all our behaviors and our actions and what we do, right? So we can control that. So I can't control the emotion of feeling the anger, but I can control my action over what I do in response to feeling anger, right? And similarly, the other thing that's within our control is our focus and our attention, right? Where we put our focus and attention. And oftentimes we are in that mental habit, as we also talked about last time, to giving our thoughts and our attention and our focus to some of those automatic thoughts that pop up. And in that way, we kind of strengthen that connection between, brain fart, attention, brain fart, attention. So I want you to think about that, right? What's within my control? What's not within my control? Because again, if it's not in my control, why am I putting energy and trying to control something that I can't? Number one, right? And number two, if there is something that's in my control, well, then let me work on that. Those are areas of growth and progress that I can make. So think about that, and we will continue the conversation.